Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree sunflower super easy wreath. We're going to use the new 8-inch wreath forms, just one, and you're going to need a piece of cardboard and a cutting device. We're going to use 3 rolls of the yellow mesh, 1 of the brown, and about half of the green, even less, and the leaves could be optional, as well as some pipe cleaners or chenille stems, however you want to call them. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make basically squares. This mesh is 6 inches wide, so we're going to make 6-inch squares, and you don't have to measure it. It's just a matter of getting them as close to uniform as possible. And then some end up being smaller, and you can always put them on the inner circle. So if you notice, this was filmed over the course of a couple of days because I actually started making this at Emily's house. This is for Emily, Lisa's daughter. She requested it, and when I saw that they had the yellow, brown, and green mesh at the Dollar Tree, I was so excited that I could actually finally do it. But I originally was doing this on the 14-inch wreath form, and it was huge because the petals extend past the outer edge of the wreath, and it ended up being like a 20-inch wreath. So if you are going to do it on the big wreath form, you can. Everything here can be upgraded. You just want to make sure that you add enough petals. You're going to need way more than 3 rolls of the mesh to do it this way, okay? And you can see I've just basically measured 1 by, folding it on the diagonal, and now I'm cutting the whole roll of the same amount. And you're going to do this for, I didn't use all 3 of the yellows. What I ended up doing for the small wreath was the outside ring had 11 yellows in each section, so that's 33 yellows. The inside ring, or the middle ring, had 7 yellows in each section, which was 21 because the small wreath has 3 sections. And then you can fill in more or less as you choose, but that's the numbers that I got. So 33 for the outside ring and 21 for the inside ring. So you need to cut 54 of these squares, to give or take. And then you're going to we used 6 of the green. And we're not going to cut the brown to make petals. The brown is going to be to make the center. So if you want to go ahead and cut all of those, you can. Now I also only put the yellow on the outer and middle rings. The inner ring we're going to lay the brown center on, but if you want it to be super fuller than mine, you can go ahead and do that as well. Alright, I didn't measure what that would be because that's not how I did it. Alright, and we're not going to bore you with me cutting the entire thing. I just wanted to show you the very end. They kind of have it rolling back on itself, so you have to, that's how I got the square. Now again, I made 3 sections of leaves, even though it's 6 leaves. The upright ribs that connect the rings in the wreath, I put 1 on each side of that, so it really looks like 3 leaves, 3 fuller leaves, which is the look that I was going for. But you want to cut the leaves a little different. So what you see I'm doing is I'm cutting, like I was folding that square, but I'm cutting that angle off, and I'm going to cut each piece with double angles, and that's just to get the leaves to be more prominently pointy. I don't know, it was necessary, but that's just the look that I was going for. You can, if you just want to stick to the squares, you can. It's totally up to you, but this is what I was doing. And again, you're just going to need 6 of them, unless you're going to do more leaves, fuller leaves, or you could skip leaves altogether. That's entirely up to you. Also, as far as the pipe cleaners are concerned, I have 2 packages because I wanted to show you, I'm sorry, chenille stems. I wanted to show you that they have the metallic ones around Christmas time usually, but in the craft section I found both kinds. And they also have primary colors. You could choose whichever. I just chose both, actually. Some of them have the yellow twist ties, and some of them have the gold of the petals when we get to it. But I'm just going to use the green, primary color green, or secondary color greens for the leaves. And all I'm doing is I'm taking the pipe cleaner and I'm folding it in thirds. I didn't feel like the pieces needed to be any bigger than that, because then you have too much chenille stem sticking out of the back. But you guys, if you aren't as nimble with your fingers, or if you're more nimble with your fingers and you want even smaller pieces, just keep in mind that you're going to be bunching up the petals. So you don't want to make them too small. Okay? And again, you don't have to watch me cut all of these. So we ended up, you end up, like I said, we used all of the gold and the yellow and then the green, a couple of the greens as well. Okay? Now, let's jump forward to the next day. Unfortunately, this got cut off. So all I did was I took a piece of cardboard box. This is a Little Debbie package. And I doubled it thickness and I traced the inside of the wreath circle out. And then I cut it out. Okay? And now we're going to take the brown mesh. I'm poking a hole in the cardboard towards one of the edges just to get it started. You could glue it or tape it if you want to, but I didn't have any other tools with me. And all you're going to do is you're going to twist the mesh as you wrap it around, and then you turn the board. So we're going to kind of go like, how am I saying it? So you want to go, say the clock, say it was a clock. You want to wrap from 12 to 6, and then come across at 11 to 5, and then do 10 to 4, and you get the gist, right? And you're going to go all the way around, and once you have it on, you can go ahead and spread it out to cover all the white, but just to make sure you have it all wrapped properly is the most important part. Okay? And we're twisting the mesh to get a nice thick coverage, because in the inside of a sunflower, it's not just a flat like a Gerber daisy or whatever. It's actually puffy. That's where the seeds are all hidden, all those delicious sunflower seeds. So I wanted to get that look. The original that she said she would like me to make actually had burlap. Was made with yellow burlap, and burlap, natural color burlap was the center. Now I'm just taking the end and I'm tucking it under. Really, this mesh is so sticky to itself, I wasn't even worried about it. So now this is where I say, go ahead and just fluff out whatever you can, cover your cardboard, and that's it. And so it's going to look weird, the timing of this thing, because I was actually disassembling the big wreath part. I only had it halfway done. We worked on it for hours and we only halfway done. Was disassembling them and reassembling them back on here. But I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really, really so simple. What you do is you're gonna take the, we'll start with a green leaf, and you're gonna put your green leaves on the outside. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, so we cut the green leaves on an angle. So we're gonna take, how do I say this? Not the pointy part, the obtuse angle, and we're gonna squeeze the two obtuse angles together. We're gonna give the right side a half turn, fold it back onto itself, and then tie off the end with the pipe cleaner. But I'm going to show you better with the petals. The only thing different with the petals is the shape of the square. There is like a rhombus is what we cut the green leaves into, and there's squares where they cut the yellow petals into, okay? Okay, so here I'm going to show you in slow motion. We've pinched the two corners together, two opposite diagonal corners, okay? And I'm gave the right side a half turn, folded it back onto itself, and twisted the end. Then you take the pipe cleaner, fold it in half. I push my thumb on the mesh. My left thumb is pushed against the mesh, pushing against the inside of the bend of the pipe cleaner. And then I just twist them around until they become one. Then I put it, I want the petal on top of the wire of the wreath, and then I wrap the pipe cleaner under it and then back around over the petal. And it's just that simple. And then you're just going to repeat it with all of them. I'm not going to show you me doing all of them because this video already is too long. Alright, so here it is again. Squeeze the two opposing diagonal corners together. Fold one half over back onto itself, and then wrap I like to pinch the end real tight with my fingers before I wrap the pipe cleaner in it. Okay? and then you're just going to continue all the way around. Like I told you guys, this took less than 2.5 of the yellow and just very, very little of the green, but a whole section of the brown. There is a piece of brown left over after we wrap that circle, but we're going to show you what we're going to do with it at the end. So stay tuned. But actually, it's going to not show you too good. It's a terrible footage. I did a terrible job filming that piece, so I apologize. But I will walk you through it. It's actually kind of simple. Okay. And as you saw there, I just periodically check that the brown is like that. I like it as it's going along. All right, and then through the magic of television. Oh yeah, this isn't television, it's YouTube. Through the magic of YouTube. Voila. No, not quite yet. It's just gonna all be finished. So, like I said, I'm not gonna make you guys sit through this entire thing. I might. Who knows? But what I did was I did a green. In each section was a green, 11 yellows, and then a green. And you can push them close together while you're twisting them on, and then you can spread them out when you're all done. And that's really what I'm showing you here. I'm just making fun, but it's really quite simple. And what I also did was, if the fold, when you fold the two pieces in half, if one of the petals was shorter, I had them go naturally backwards and put the shorter one on top. So you can see here, it's all finished. So the only thing we have to do is we have the remainder of the brown. And what we're doing is you can either keep it rolled up or you could fold it. You're going to cut it in half lengthwise because we're going to need to make some twists. So if you look at a natural sunflower, it has all its seeds in the middle, but it has this extra layer of almost looks like little brown petals around the center. And we're just going to mimic that a little bit, and we're also going to do that. While we're doing that, we're going to cover up some of the twist ties on that first row. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm cutting it straight down the middle. It doesn't have to be perfectly even because we're going to end up twisting it anyway. And this is the part that really got messed up. I've just basically made a crown around it. I've tucked one end underneath. Because the whole thing was twisted, I went around the circumference of the circle, and then I put it the other end underneath. And you can see here I'm just securing it on with 2 little pieces of the pipe cleaner. I'm going through a couple of layers of the brown mesh just to secure a bunch of different layers so it doesn't blow away in the wind. And I'm tying it to the 2 rings, or one of the rings on the back of the wreath. And I'm doing that in 2 spots. Okay, and that's also going to keep that ring on there because, again, we wrap the ends of that little ring. We wrap the ends underneath, so that's going to help secure that as well. It's kind of getting pinched in there a little bit between the cardboard and the wire. And you can see there, actually, you can see here how it's kind of got like a donut around the edge, almost like a bun. And that just not only, like I said, not only makes it look more like an actual sunflower, but it covers up some of the wires. And I'm taking another little piece of pipe cleaner, twisting it on itself, and making a little hanger in the back. And again, that's optional. You could, if you have a big enough hook, you could just hang this. And here's what it looks like from the back. And I made sure I laid all of the petals so that the little twisties come forward. Okay, all right, go back actually. And that's it. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. It was so much fun once I figured it out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share with friends and family. Anybody you know might be interested in learning how to make this very inexpensive, very easy wreath from the Dollar Tree that looks like a sunflower. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And if you try this, share with me on social media. I'd love to see what you do. Maybe you'll do white and yellow and do like a daisy or whatever comes to your heart. And as always, you take care. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.